Hey guys, how are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap. So if you guys wouldn't mind quickly smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those charts. So yeah, on the 4 hour here, you can kind of see there's not been a lot of action today. If I actually flick over to the hour, you can definitely see here the lack of real directional bias here. We are just in a holding pattern, I believe, until the futures open for the traditional markets and the CME opens. That's basically what I think we're kind of in now. We're waiting to get some sort of a move. Obviously there is a bias to the move being to the upside. Based on just based on the larger time frame larger time frame trend and larger time frame indicators, but some of the shorter time frame ones are looking a little bit problematic. And I mean, we haven't had any sort of move up or breakout today, but obviously I do understand that could potentially happen as soon as obviously all the futures open. But without that as a sort of catalyst to then push us to the upside, if it wasn't for that, this would start to look to me like we are going to come and test either this 11,500 horizontal, or I would even say potentially lower than that. But in all fairness, giving Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt, if it doesn't break up, we've obviously got a high here, a low here. We'll have a high there, and if we do only come down to the 11,500, then that is just a higher low, and we will potentially be forming just a pennant here on a larger time frame, and then we can then potentially get a move up to around 11,800 before we then make a decision for upside or downside. That would be giving Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt. But if we weren't going to do that, I would potentially be targeting down at 11,000 to flush out a lot of those over leveraged longs and just general over leveraged positions. Also not it doesn't have to be leveraged positions, just people that bought here and think we're going up and then start to puke their positions as we approach the 11,000 mark. Yeah, definite possibility, because forming a rectangular formation is not an uncommon thing for any asset, including Bitcoin, to do. Forming a box at the high with a range, that is it's not uncommon, and it would look perfectly normal for us to do that here. It would obviously be very aggressive if we actually look at this on the daily. I mean, you can kind of see what I'm looking at on the daily. It would be a very aggressive move for us literally just to be consolidating here, and then any time soon within the next couple of days, then just to blast all our way up to 14k. I mean, Bitcoin does make moves like that, don't get me wrong. It does make moves like that. We can kind of see after we had our first breakout here, we did consolidate for a bit, but as you can see, we did have a big fake out to the upside, where you can see here on this daily 9 a big fake out, which then did immediately get slammed back down, and it only took us to the bottom of the range. And then basically what we did form, if I can find my drawing tools, which is not that one, is it? Anyway, all I was going to do was sort of draw a rectangle around there, so you can see we did actually have a rectangle. It started to look like it was an ascending triangle that was going to break up, but then we just got that big move down, and then what we ended up with was a rectangular box that we broke up from. So oops, let me go to that. We don't need the text. I don't even know why I clicked on the text thinking that I was going to be able to get a rectangle. Again here, on this consolidation before the next move up, you can see we sort of formed a sort of an ascending pattern, had the fake out, breakout, move up, slam back down, move back up again, slam back down again, and then, I mean, it's basically a flat bottom. I mean, obviously the top of this one's a bit, it's not obviously not straight, but you can see we have got a flat bottom of that, and then we just rallied up from there. I'm not necessarily going to go back and look at any other examples, not because they're just the only ones. I mean, we'll have a quick look at this one. Obviously, we had the move up here. and then we sort of played out this rectangular box here before we then proceeded with the move up. So what I am saying is that this would look it just would look very normal if we are to form a box, either a more optimistic box with a level down with a bottom. Actually, what am I talking about? We're on a daily now, aren't we? Not on that 4 hours. I was going to say the more optimistic level would be a box that would be the bottom 11,500. But as you can see, that still is only really forming an ascending triangle. Really, the bottom is here around 11,000. So it's definitely a risk that we need to be aware of. At the moment, everything looks fine and dandy as an ascending triangle. Everything looked fine and dandy as a more aggressively upward sloping ascending triangle until it then didn't, and now we're forming another one. So obviously now we are currently in another one, but being extended, but adjusted the pattern. So I mean, are we going to get another test down to around literally just around 11,400, 11,500, and then just form and then us again have to, if I can get the right one, basically have to then adjust it again like this? Are we going to end up having to do that? Or are we going to end up having to scrap the whole idea off of an ascending triangle because we basically come down and test the 11,000 area? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with us doing that. I can't straighten this up at the moment. There's nothing wrong with us doing that. But anyway, that is this will obviously be invalidated if we do break up here and start to make progress. It's clearly an easy trade to enter. You just have a tight stop, and it is fine. You can just buy the breakout, have your stop, have a trading take profit, and then if you get some profit, you'll keep going. Excellent. If we come back and we get slammed back down, you're out your trade, aren't you? So it's not a problem if that happens trading wise. All I'm saying for the people that maybe aren't as necessarily aggressively on the ball trading this breakout, and you're just building up a hodl position expecting the move to come up, maybe just be a little bit cognizant of the fact that we could be testing down to 11,000 and playing out a range here, and it would be perfectly normal for price action generally, and it would be perfectly normal for Bitcoin price action, as we've just shown. So let's have a look at the stochastics so we can just have a look at what is going on there. So you can see on the 4 hour is coming down. 8 hours up there, but looks like it's going to turn. 10 hours nearly turning. 12 hour is looking like it is going to turn. Obviously, if we don't make any progress to the upside, and progress to the upside from here, guys, pretty much is a breakup. I mean, we're at 11,900. If we break around the $12,000 mark again, I mean, we are up and away. So when I say these stochastics basically are going to turn down, they're pretty much going to turn down unless we basically break out and go up anyway. So if we don't break out and go up, then these stochastics are definitely going to weigh on price action with how they will be forming. And the daily again pointing down. Again, I keep saying this is at the moment only really looking like a bullish reset, but that was when it was mainly the daily that was floundering around. We had these lower time frames steaming up, 12 hour, 10 hour steaming up, and even the 4 hour. Well, we did until we didn't. Another one as well is the 3-day turning over. Another thing of note is obviously the 3-day 9, but we did discuss that, and it's only really an issue if we do break below it, which incidentally we will just call it around the 11,200, but realistically we'll just look at this line, the bottom line around 11,000. If we take that out, then I think we will get a continuation sell-off from this 9. But on the flip side, what I actually think would be the more likely scenario is not that we take out this low and come down, is that we eventually take out the high of this 9 candle, and then what that will give us an acceleration, a break to the upside. So yeah, but do we come down? Well, do we come down and test this 11,000? Do we fake out a bit below? That is the big question for me. That is the big question. We have got definite bullish trends on larger time frames and large time frame oscillators, but that's larger time frames. They don't have to play out right now. They don't have to play out today. They don't have to play out this week. We can have all sorts of craziness in this range even coming down to test 10,500 on a wick basis. As long as it's a wick basis and we get bought back up and we don't hang around the 10,500 or break it, then it's just that's just trading, guys. That's how hard it can be sometimes when you're expecting a break up and then you can get a move down. Well, what realistically is going to be not far off $2,500. So all I really want to say, you guys know that I'm incredibly bullish, have been incredibly bullish at certain points, have been bearish at certain points, and this is a point to be bullish, but to be careful of the fact that it's not as clear cut as quite possibly other people may have you believe. So yeah, that's it really. That's all I particularly wanted to say. Bitcoin dominance, having a look over at that. This is on a weekly scale. You can see we had this horizontal drawn in, and I'll say we've basically touched that. We are coming in for a daily 9 on this TD, on this TD sequential on the daily. So we could get an acceleration, so an actual basically sell-off in Bitcoin, like I'm sort of saying, not like a massive sell-off, but a sorry, I've just tried to clear that off. That not a massive sell-off, but basically down to even the 11k range, which would be quite a big sell-off. That would potentially cause an acceleration of that Bitcoin dominance into that daily 9, which obviously would be tomorrow, into that daily 9. And then the retrace of that daily 9 could most certainly coincide with then a move up and break of this range, with Bitcoin price moving up, which would obviously then you would assume cause a pullback in the Bitcoin dominance. So is that a sign we're getting? Are we getting one last hoorah pump in these altcoins before we are going to look for a BTC breakout and some consolidation? Are we? Is that what is about to happen? We shall see. I just would be a bit worried about the fact if we do obviously come down to this 11 area, we are basically trading below this 9. But you guys know, with how I trade the TD, you can be aggressive and trade basically break below with a tight stop. That's fine, but realistically it doesn't trigger an actual sell until we have a 3-day candle close below the low of this 3-day candle, and at that point we would be looking like we were going to come and test some downside. But so my point is, we can have wicks down here, and as long as we close higher, it is not a problem for this larger trend, and it will flush out a lot of positions. It will probably spike down that BTC dominance on that 9 candle, and then that could potentially give us the impetus, the bullish buying pressure, to then form a wick and get some follow through and find ourselves quite quickly at 14k. Definite possibilities, guys. So they are the two scenarios realistically that I'm looking at. One of them is quite simply what everyone is looking at: ascending triangle, breakout, bull flag, breakout, up and away. But one of them is that we're not really in an ascending pattern. It kind of looks like it at the moment, whilst the bulls are keeping their foot on the gas, keeping us up there. But if they don't get paid, if the people that are the buying pressure that is causing these higher lows don't get paid and we don't break up, then they are going to turn into basically closing out those buy positions, i.e. selling pressure. So yeah, that's it guys. Be cautiously optimistic. That's probably the best way to describe it. So yeah, that's it guys. So yeah, good luck. Hope you guys have the weekend. Hope we all have a good week's trading. So yeah, look forward to that. I think it will be an interesting week. In all fairness, you guys that listen to my videos, I feel like I do say this every weekend, that it's going to be an interesting week and we've got a big week ahead for Bitcoin. But to be honest, it always seems like it is the case. So I'll have to keep saying it whilst ever it seems like it is the case. But yeah, so remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys in the morning.